when you're turning over 20 million, you're making 2 or 3%. But if you can turn over 2 million and make 20%, you know, you have to have a serious think to yourself. It's Bank Holiday Monday, and I, and only I, am in the yard. And how cool is that? On last week, in Weekly on Saturday, I was down at the Chelsea Flower Show as all of the teams were preparing for the show. They're 3 weeks out, and I was with the robotic printing mortar machine. The lads there promised me a life-size Ashville A, and they are well on the way. Here are the stages of design. First, you create on CAD. Then using the CAD drawing to prove the concept, because some people can't imagine it. All of us can, of course, imagine an Ashville A. You print in plastic. You then do a dry run with the 3D robotic machine. No mortar. And if that works, then you do the full life-size one. I'm trying to get the team to come here and print it in the yard. I also have another idea for something really special that I want to do at the refurbishment project. And they do loads of lovely plant pots, but I'm not really a plant man, so I'm not going to have any of those made. What do you think that we can make with this 3D printing machine? I want to make a couple of cubes out of it so we can test the compressive strength, because I hear it gets up to 40 Newton meters, which is a little bit less strong than the C50 that we use to create our slab within our concrete track. Click here to watch a video where we share all the engineering of how to build your own train track. And I'm thinking of everything we can possibly do with this cool machine. Now, you may say to yourself,
what has Daniel gone and involved himself in now? He's got an idea in his head and he's got really excited and he's trying to drag everyone into it. Why does he want to make them drag that machine all around the country printing things? He's gone and doing it again. Why is he doing it?
You know why? In the great words of Tommy Shelby, because we can! Because we can, Polly! And that's it for Bank Holiday Monday. It's Tuesday morning. We're in the yard. The weather has betrayed us, so I've had to get the trousers and the jumper and the jacket back out as it has dropped to 7 or 8 degrees. I will bring the shorts back out when required again to look like Dennis the Menace. The train is due in at 2 o'clock. We had notification to let us know it was late and would be in at 3. But we have a bigger problem than that, in that the LH60 has gone into limp mode again. We have a technician climbing up and down and having a look around it. We removed the fault, turned it back on, and the fault appeared straight away again. On the inside, I'm panicking, and so's Flo, but I'm hiding it so nobody sees it and saying that it is under control. But if this train does pull in here and the LH60 is in limp mode, at first it will be underpowered and going slower than it should, but at any time it can fully lock itself out and then we won't be able to use it. Thought the main challenge was weighing the train. Now it appears we're going to have a challenge actually loading the train. We're never going to be able to get hold of one of those sensors. Liebherr's all the way up in Biggleswade. We can't clear it. Talk to me, Flo. How many tons are we going to load in each wagon today?
65.
No, 55! You're going to get us in trouble again, man! 55, Flo. 55 tons in each wagon, oh my goodness. If you were watching a couple of weeks back, you know exactly what Flo and I are talking about there. Shunter's already been in and opened up the gate. The time is 1:45, so we've got about an hour and 15 minutes to try and get this LH60 working again. Just turning on and booting up our weighing system at the moment, which should be working perfectly. At the Penthouse project, last week in the bathrooms you saw us fit the skylight units. Now we're boarding up with 2 skins of 12.5mm moisture resistant plasterboard.
Now I'm doubting myself. 55 or 65?
Yeah, outside.
No, I'm calling FCC.
No, outside.
Now I'm confused. Let's see, Flo. Flo, I don't want to be right. Hello, mate. Sorry, we're getting confused in here and we don't want to get ourselves in trouble again. Are we loading 55 tons or 65 tons?
65.
Thank you.
Come, now you're up, Flo, come here. No, come here. Nah. Greg, thank you very much, mate.
No worries.
Thanks.
Cheers.
See you, bye.
Thanks, bye.
I am wrong. I stand corrected. Flo is right, and we are loading 65 tons. I apologize, Flo.
That's all right.
That's why you load the train. We've had a delivery come in. I believe those are the track pads. 1, 2, and 3. Also doing a bit of work on the volumetric. Now that all the welding inside is complete, we've just pulled the tire van over and we're using the compressor to build up some air. We're going to clean off all the little bits of concrete, which should have been cleaned off by the driver at the time, but we're not going to go into that, and just improve this. So whoever comes to look at it and buy it can see that care and attention has been taken and that it is a good lorry. Heading up to my office for a zoom on my hair, because I'm going for it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to get it done. And it's the reason why my sides have been longer lately. They wanted me to grow my sides so they can see if the donor area was any good. The L860 could last long enough to load the train in its reduction mode, albeit it will be slower than normal, or I don't even want to think about the alternative. The fitter has actually left and driven to Biggleswade to go and get that sensor at the moment because he's worried that this train will slip into a locked mode halfway through the offload. So hopefully there's no traffic and he can get back as soon as possible. Relatively quiet all day, and all of a sudden Quattro are flat out, and apparently we've got 19 loads coming in half an hour. All the newly tipped Quattro loads. I think Flo's going to take some of this and load it straight on. We're in limp mode yet? But still yellow, not red.
Yep, yellow.
He's on the way back. Should be here soon, Flo. can actually feel what Flo's talking about. When you have a full bucket of material and then you lift and try to slew all at the same time, there's like a slight delay and you can hear the machine saying, Flo, what do you reckon? 65 in each of these wagons, yeah?
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God, yeah. Not 55, 65. Our sensors arrived. Hopefully, the warning light comes off the dash and we are no longer in limp mode. I was going to turn it on, see if there's any immediate differences. Clear!
Over one, pissed up.
So you'll check the power. But is it clear? Yeah? Full power? In construction, no 2 days are the same. While it can be fun, it can also get physical. We all need rest after a day's work, but some of the lads were beginning to feel excessively tired, weak, and unfocused. So I said to the lads, don't just sit there and think, oh, I'm getting old. Order yourself a home testing testosterone kit from manual.co and find out what's going on. 1 in 4 men suffer from low testosterone, and 90% of cases in the UK remain undiagnosed. Now, this can be the cause of poor sleep quality, gaining weight, lack of muscle mass, low energy, and lack of focus. Manual is one of the UK's trusted low testosterone clinics with world-class experts and doctors. It's a very simple process. You order, the test kit arrives by post. It's simple to do. You send it back in the post and wait for your results. So what do you have to lose? Doing a quick test, which could make a lot of things make sense. Now, when you get your results, if need be, Manual can offer testosterone replacement therapy services to help get your body and mind back on track. So if you want to put your health first, use the code Ashville45 and head to manual.co to order your at-home testosterone testing kit. It's a big improvement, and we haven't even washed it properly yet. All of that came off the auger, got all of this on the floor. Another half a day's work on this tomorrow, and then a good clean. Flo's got 2 wagons left to go, and then we're going to go over the weighbridge, take the weights, see if we need to pull any material out of any of the wagons, and then go over again to double check. And then the train will be leaving at 8 p.m. The time now is 5:53 p.m. So even with all of our challenges, we are well ahead of schedule. At this point, I have to be honest, I was in my bed dreaming of 3D robotic printing, but the time lapse has evidence of a URO. That's an unidentified rail object or ghost train, whichever you prefer. Does anyone know what this train is and what it's actually doing? It's Wednesday morning, not in the yard. I'm in central London at the Penthouse project. The decking is complete. However, the lads need to lift a couple of the boards to drill for light holes and then refit them.
kabel. Do ciebie. Dawaj ją teraz do mnie. Dobra.
In the kitchen, I showed you last week the work that we needed to do here to fit the channel for the under unit lights. That is now done. We are working on the cupboard here to house the extractor fan, which will fit on the wall over there. And a company are coming out today to template for the worktop, which will take a week. When doing that, they will also template for the splashback, which is coming to this height and will also be natural stone. The floor is completely covered so we don't damage any of the tiles. And there's only decorating and bits and pieces which are left, and this kitchen will be complete. Chris is using clamps, masking tape and a spirit level to ensure the plank of engineered wood flooring, which is to be used as the step riser, is completely straight. There are slight imperfections which could be seen if you look very closely where the planks and square staircase nosing would meet. It's very difficult to see pencil on this colour flooring, so masking tape is used and we mark on top of this. A spirit level gives a completely straight edge and then we use a planer to cut. Working on cladding this step in the same finish as the floor, as you saw us do in the bedroom. Chris has done the bottom step and work will begin in a moment on the top and the feature fireplace wall. We showed the client samples and this is the finish they have gone for, but the gentleman who does this is extremely busy, so he's not going to be here for a few weeks. By the time he does get here, we would have completely cleaned out of the area and we'll have to put down some protective flooring. But we're very happy the client has chosen like a standout that will separate this wall from the rest of the house, because after all, it is a feature. Where the tread and riser meet, we have a square staircase nosing from the floor manufacturer to match the flooring planks perfectly. Packers are used to build up the area behind the riser to ensure they will sit level and not sink backwards over time. Everything is cut and dry fit as a practice run, checking everything fits perfectly. Then removed, glued and refit. So in this bathroom, the ceiling has been completely boarded. We're just taping up and preparing. As I said in last week's weekly, we are going to cover all four sides of this area with a plastic finish, because this is the first area, irrespective of how strong your extractor is, all the hot water vapor is going to race to here, as it did before the client had this refurbishment and they had to keep sanding it down and painting it. We're going to put a plastic finish here, which cannot be damaged, so the client can wipe it down. But they wouldn't let us just buy a little bit of it. We had to buy an entire roll. So whatever's left, we're going to have to take it back to the yard and put it in storage. Through the bedroom, into the other bathroom. We're also boarded up. When we finished in that bathroom, we're going to move into here and prepare this for plaster. And on Monday, we'll decorate the ceiling, and probably Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll silicone and seal everything. At that point, we can begin the second fix to fit the bath mixer, the toilet, the sink, the taps, the shower mixers and shower heads. We're preparing woodwork for decoration, starting with the MDF pencil edge skirting board. Grit fill has been used as the primary method to fix the skirting, but we've also used a nail gun as a second fix. The nails sink into the MDF by 1 to 2 mil beneath the surface, and we fill the holes with wood filler and sand down for a smooth finish. We're doing the same on the door lining, but as it is prepared timber, we have knots which could bleed through to the finished paint over time. This can happen as when factory treated, the knots absorb a higher amount of oil than the surrounding wood, which could seep through once the paint has dried. So to help stabilize, we apply knot impale to prevent seepage. Once dry, we can apply undercoat to prepare for the top coat. I'm heading back to the yard, but of course, in my absence, the work continues. The lads did a lot more work this morning on the back of this concrete lorry, and we're just giving it a final blast off now. And I must say they've done a fine job. It's looking a lot better. We have removed the ram and the new track pads have already been fitted in my absence. I also have a price for the cage from the company in Holland. I'm just waiting for them to let me know the shipping. The cage itself is £750, but the brackets are slightly different. So we're gonna have to cut and do a bit of welding to get it on here. Because even though the brackets are slightly different, it looks a hell of a lot better than what's on there now. So now we're gonna load the ram into Flo's van and Flo's gonna drop it off for repair. Delivery time. The first thing that arrived is the sample for the refurbishment project. A while back, I told you the client selected a stone. They were afraid that the stone was porous, and if you were cooking with spice or you spilt wine on it, it would soak it up and stain the color. So this is the stone which they've chosen with a protective cover on it because they wanted to see if it made it extremely gloss, which it hasn't. Delivery time. Okay, not sure. That's from earlier in the week. Here it is. There it is. There's the Ashville A for my desk. And the fact that this works means that we are like 60% there to the full size Ashville. Let's just put it on Friday's desk because we know he's desperate to see it there. Hey! Supports its own weight as well. There was a time when I used to get loads of gifts sent to me every day. But whoa, what, there's another version, what? Let's put this one on as well. Look at that. Oh no, wait, that was my fault. Hold on, oh no. Ah, people will say it's symbolic that Ashville's fallen apart. All right, here we go. There we go. That's it for Wednesday. It's Thursday, and I'm in the yard. And I've just had news through that we have 3 trains next week. It's going to be a record-breaking week. Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday will be loading non-haz. We're doing a bit of work on the buckets for the 914. We've ordered new tips. Now this tip was damaged and the lads kept using it, so they had worn this down. So we had to build this one back up here and here to match the rest of them, so when our new tips arrive, we can put them on and not completely destroy the bucket. We were going to take off this cutting edge, but we have not got to our new cutting edge as of yet, so we're just going to leave it, but we've left everything in place. And this is a cutting edge that was sent to us incorrectly for the 586, which was changed over a while back. When they bring us our new cutting edges, we're going to give them that. Price came back for the 914 Ram at just under £800 plus VAT. It needs a new stick, it needs to be resealed and then tested. That work has begun right away. The lads are still working on the concrete lorries. Now they're on AS14 CON, cleaning out the back of it, getting them spotless, getting all the little bits of concrete and debris off. The delivery has arrived. Mano has sent us some 46 hydraulic oil, but this is from their new range. And they've told me something that I need to see with my own eyes to believe it. Clear. As you can see by our selection of oil, Mano is our oil of choice. As soon as the Ram is back on the 914, we need to significantly top up the hydraulic oil in there because it's been leaking for a while, but we can't do it and get the proper level until the Ram is on. But we need 5 litres in the L860. But this is the new oil. This is the clear hydraulic oil, which I've never actually seen in the flesh. And guys, I'm going to be teaming up with Mano this year at Auto Mechanica 2025 on Wednesday the 4th of June, Hall 19 on Stand PAE. Be good to see some of you there. We're not going to be taking this off, so we are just going to fill up through the breather. Look at that. Clear hydraulic oil. Can you imagine? Almost looks like water. It's key that you put high quality oil in all of your kit that meets the specification. If you had put the wrong oil in something like this, you'd be in all types of trouble. But as you can see, this is the good stuff, which will keep the L860 working well and limit any wear and tear. We're all topped up. Flo is going to start doing his checks. The train is due in 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Can't wait.
Train is loaded. Flo, sorry, how much did you load? 60 and a bit. While the train was loading, we have made a plan for concreting, which will start on Monday. In line with my network rail lease, the first part of the yard that's going to be concreted is the strip running next to the train line. We're going to do 12 meters, but we need to take a line and stick to it. We can't follow the line of the railway slab, otherwise we'll be S-ing all over the place. So it doesn't take long to work out that while we're doing that concreting, we won't be able to accept any trains, but we've also put a plan in place for that. We're going to completely clear this area behind me, and we are going to put some jersey barriers in front of the topsaw and along the fence here with our neighbours, and we are still going to accept and stockpile the material for the duration of the concreting of the slab alongside the track. We're going to move all of this stuff here. We're going to move it up the top of the yard into storage, and we'll start in that very corner just there and make our way up the train line. Of the buckets we have over here, the 926 is no longer with us, so the buckets on this side will go up the top of the yard into storage just in case we ever need them, and the grapple for the 914 and the scraper bars for the LH60, which are here, they will go onto the concrete slab over there. We'll move the sweeper out the car park and we'll completely dismantle this car park, and then we'll be able to use all the jersey barriers for this area here. Of course, the plan will adapt and change as time goes by, but that's it for now. It's Friday. We're in the yard. And the plan I spoke about yesterday is already in play, and we're beginning to move bits to storage areas to make space to start moving around material in the yard. I had a price back for the shipping from Holland of the cage for the 914. It's 370 euros. Not going to work for me. So today, our RAM is ready to be collected. Flo's going to go and collect it and bring it back. We're going to put it back on the 914, and then we're going to take a different approach. We're going to heat up the cage on the front of the machine. We're going to attach it to the arm, and once it's heated up, hopefully we'll soften it a bit, so when we pull the arm out, we can at least try to straighten it a little bit. But we're going to have to be careful that the brackets on either side, that we don't put too much stress on them and break them. So we're going to find an innovative solution to save some money and work around it. I'm constantly looking for ways to save now and find efficiencies and teach multiple members of staff, other staff members' jobs, so they can cover for each other when they're not in, or when the worst happens when they're unwell, without us having to increase the size of the team. Now, it's no secret, and you can see what's going on here, that we are clearly generating less revenue. And I've had to learn that bigger, it isn't always necessarily better, and all things are relative. Now, an example where bigger is better is if you are turning over £1 million and you are making, 20% profit, and you scale up your business to 20 million and you're making 20% profit, you're in the game. I can see that you are being rewarded for your risk and the larger infrastructure. But if you compare it in a different way, that when you're turning over 20 million, you're making 2 or 3%. But if you can turn over 2 million and make 20%, you have to have a serious think to yourself. Is it worth everything that goes into the 20 million to make a couple of percent? And what could go wrong, and what mistakes could be made that result in you making nothing? But then again, you could argue that risk and reward are directly linked. But currently, what's going on in the yard is working well for us, I'm happy to say. Another thing that I hope is going to be working well is the 914. So Flo went to collect the RAM. We have it back. We're now going to fit it back onto the 914, top it up with our lovely clear hydraulic oil. And I did say that we were going to try to straighten out the guard
using the arm of the machine, but there's no time for that now because we're just flat out in the yard. So we are going to get it back on and get it into the yard working straight away because it's got plenty of material that needs to be moved around.
Saturday, and we're in the yard. Yesterday was a record-breaking day. It was the first day that we had over 1,000 tons of non-haz material come into the yard. We have put it all back into manageable piles to prepare for the train on Tuesday, and the lads are continuing with the work I described yesterday, preparing for the concrete in to start early next week. So our barriers are all going in place on the wall here, and the topsoil is being moved from its previous location to its new location to make space for the non-haz for the weeks when we are concreting the strip and cannot load trains. Given the spare LH60 bucket a blast off, and just in case we need to use it, it was sat on the concrete, which is a good place because it's next to the workshop. But when concreting, if there's an emergency, we have decided to move it over to this area. Sweeper out the car park as well to make more room, and the dismantling of the old car park continues. Let's have a close inspection of our lovely refurbished Ram. New stick looks really good. No leaks at all. Good to see the guys have greased it up. See it moving. Little pit stop for the 914 went well. We've topped up with our lovely hydraulic clear oil from Manol. The track pads are on, giving it a nice clean. And Bazza, welder Fabber, is having a look for a new cage for us because I can't pay the 370 or 390 euro carriage. So Bazza said he may find another one and cut it and weld it to fit. So yesterday we sent him the dimensions of the bolt up there to the bolt here, center to center. And you know, Mr. Welder Fabber will make it happen, as he always does. Time now is 1:47. The lads in the yard are finishing at 2. Car park is about 90% dismantled. On Monday, we're gonna level all of this material, and the vans, we're gonna take them and reverse them up against the containers to protect the back doors. Then this area should be completely open, leaving loads of room. And our Great Wall of Ashville has gone very well. All the topsoil has been moved, and we should just about have enough jersey barriers left. We'll put 2 here, and then we'll come out here as far as we can with all the barriers that we have left. And that's it for Ashville Weekly, episode 240. Click here for the Ashville website. Click here to subscribe to our channel. Click down here for an Ashville video you may not have seen before. And click down here for last week's episode, which was number 239.